So, 2 years ago, we were celebrating my daughter's 5th birthday at our house. My wife and I invited all of our friends and family to come over to party, swim, and celebrate together. My daughter at the time loved The Lion King, so we threw her a Lion King themed party. It was actually a really great time. The party lasted maybe about 6 hours, and around 7 p.m. at night, the last guest had left. My daughter was near the front door, playing with some of the new gifts that she had gotten from the party while my wife and I were cleaning up. All of a sudden, my daughter comes up to me and says that she found a gift at the front door. She hands it to me. It was truly a poorly wrapped gift. Like tape was sticking out of the sides and the wrapping paper itself was just very wrinkly. I studied the gift. There was no name on it, but there was a card attached to it. I opened the card first. It said, "Happy birthday, Emily. You've gotten so big. I've always been watching you." There was no name signed at the bottom. Freaked out at who could have possibly sent this gift, I opened it up. When I opened it, a single porcelain doll head fell out and rolled on the floor. I quickly picked it up. The eyes seemed to have been painted red, as if blood was coming from them. My daughter saw the head and looked really upset. She asked who would send her a gift like that. I went outside and searched all around. There was no one out there. I came back inside and told my wife to call and text everyone from the party if they had left this gift here. None of them did, which I figured was the case. I can't tell you how disturbed I was as a parent. I ended up calling the police and filing a report. As you could have guessed, there wasn't much that they could do about it. I told my daughter and my wife that I threw the doll head away, but I didn't. I still have it in a box in the basement, in case anything like this happens again. I have no clue who sent it, or if they have been really watching my daughter. Her birthday is coming up again in a few months. All I will say is this: I believe in the Second Amendment. Parents, watch your kids closely. There are truly sick people out there. This one breaks my heart to tell, but here it is. Last year, my uncle was turning 50. So to celebrate, my dad and my uncle's wife collaborated a surprise birthday party to happen at my uncle's house. We literally invited the whole family and all of my uncle's friends and co-workers. There was maybe like 45 people in total who showed up. The surprise party plan was this. We all show up at my uncle's house at 5 p.m. My uncle would be out with my aunt picking up something at the store. When they were leaving the store, my aunt would text my dad that they were on the way back, and they would all start to hide and get ready to surprise him. Well, it was about 5:30 p.m., and my dad announced to the party that he had got the text from my aunt that they are stopping at a gas station and they would be home in 10 minutes. We all finished our drinks and then started to hide in different parts of the house. There was honestly so many of us that he would almost notice immediately that there was a surprise party going on, but we didn't care. Well, a half hour goes by, and my aunt and uncle still never showed up at the house. We were all looking out the windows and looking down the street, but we didn't see their car. We all started to wonder what was taking so long. My dad pulled out his phone and texted my aunt, asking if they were close. Almost an hour goes by at this point, and we still haven't heard from my aunt about where they are. The energy in the room started to shift from excitement to nervousness about why they were so late. And that's when my dad got the phone call. It was my aunt. He put it on speakerphone so that we could all hear it. My aunt was hysterically crying. My dad kept asking what's wrong and where are you guys? That's when my aunt said that he's dead. They've killed him. This caught us all off guard. My dad started asking, "What do you mean? Who's dead?" My aunt said that they were at the gas station filling up when 2 men came up and tried to steal the car. My uncle tried to fight back, but they ended up shooting him dead on the spot. She said she's at the gas station still now with police and ambulance, but he was announced dead on the scene. The thieves even ended up stealing the car too and driving off in it. I can't tell you how haunting it was seeing everyone's face after they heard the news. My mom and a bunch of my other cousins also started to cry. A police officer eventually dropped off my aunt to the house. She was absolutely hysterical and was almost on the verge of a mental breakdown, and I don't blame her. But there was some good news that did come out of this. The two men who killed my uncle were caught almost 2 weeks later. The trial is currently pending, but they are both facing life in prison. I've always been against the death penalty, but in my opinion, they both deserve it. My entire family misses my uncle so much, and I just pray that he's at peace. This story happened back when I was about 11 years old. We were at my cousin Jalen's birthday party. He had just turned 12, and the party was at his place. Jalen had this big backyard where they set up tents, slip-and-sides, and other cool birthday stuff for kids. Well, I was there having a good time and throwing around a football with Jalen. He was sort of being a jerk at the time and overthrew the football into the woods behind his house. He told me to go and get it so it doesn't get lost. Upset that he did this on purpose, I went into the woods to go and get it. I had walked maybe 10 feet into the woods when I saw it. I bent down to grab it when I heard a voice. I looked up and saw this man standing there behind a tree nearby. He was wearing baggy jeans and had a hood up. I looked at him briefly and knew at once I did not recognize who he was. As I was picking up the ball, he said, "Hey, follow me. I want to show you something cool." My 11-year-old brain thought that maybe he was someone from the party or a friend of the family, but then why would he be out here in the woods all by himself standing behind a tree? I seriously almost took a step closer to follow him, but something inside of me screamed to get away. I grabbed the football and just sprinted out of the woods. When I got back to the party, I found my dad and told him there was some strange man in the woods asking me to follow him. My dad was pretty concerned about this and asked me to go and show him. When we got into the woods, I went back to the exact spot where the man was talking to me, but no one was there. My dad started looking behind trees and bushes, but couldn't find anybody. My dad said it was probably an animal, or maybe I was just seeing things, and said that we should get back to the party. I'm 19 now, and I know for a fact I didn't imagine that person standing there. I can still see his face clear as day in my head. The rest of the party went by fine. I kept looking back into the woods, but saw no one. I know my dad didn't believe me at the time, but to you guys out there who have kids, believe them when they tell you something isn't right. I don't know what that man's intentions were that day, but I can only imagine they were sinister. Stay safe, everyone, and thank you for listening.